I want to head over there, I'm going to go over there. And as they fly to the next thermal, they lose altitude. They will catch that next thermal, rise back up, and then drift off to the next thermal. And that's how they can go great distance, because again, it takes a lot of power. These guys are like 747s getting off the ground. Unlike a little Falcon or 7, they can bolt off the ground. So their eyesight is extremely well. It's said that what we see at 10 feet looks like it, they can see it comparatively 100 feet. So their eyesight is very good. You can see their eyes are also a little bit to the side. They're not forward focused like ours, so they have a little bit more peripheral vision, a little bit more less stereo vision in the front. So they can see quite a bit going around. You see his head following my hand. Yeah, he watches my hand all the time. He's like, what are you doing with that? What are you doing with that? Then we just do a little pat and make sure he knows it's okay. When do these guys hunt? Daytime. They have the day shift. None of them hunt, hawks do not hunt at nighttime. They know they have the day shift. When they meet up with the night shift, there's sometimes a little bit of a battle. They don't like each other, even though they will share the same territory. This guy shares the same territory with great horned owls. So if the shifts cross over a little bit, there will be a fight. Who wins depends on who's got the upper hand at that time. But for the most part, they live okay with one another because he's got the day shift, Al's got the night shift. And that's what we're going to bring out next. We're going to bring out the night shift. Yes. Real loud. Any other bird that he asked if there's any other bird besides the owl that's nocturnal, and the answer is yes. There are other birds out there. Some birds actually do a lot of their flying at nighttime because they feel safer at night because there aren't many predators out there. There's the nighthawk or the nightjar. They are out at nighttime. Well, the birds are out at night besides owls, nightjars, and nighthawks. That's basically it. That's mostly it. Your birds will migrate though. Like the Canadian geese, migratory birds, when they migrate, they'll feed during the day, they'll fly at night. And it's believed part of the reason they do that is because of star positioning and everything else, they can navigate by the stars. Don't know if that's really true, but that's one of the theories. But most of them migrate during the night.
Might go to the
and it's also safer. You don't have all your predators out at nighttime.
I don't know what Steve's problem is with these birds, but they are. I give him all the tough ones. This is one of our nocturnal birds. For those of you who are not familiar with the term nocturnal, it means animals that hunt at night, are awake at night, and then during the daytime is when they're asleep. Most of the time. This is an owl. Not all owls are nocturnal, although most are. We're going to introduce you to one of our diurnal owls in a few minutes, a daytime owl, but most of them are nocturnal. Now this is what we call a barred owl, and he gets the name barred owl because if you look at his chest and belly, he's got stripes or bars. That's where he got the name barred owl. Now in western New York, there are 7 species of resident owl. They include the smallest in this area, the saw-whet, screech owl, short-eared owl, long-eared owl, barn owl, barred owl, and the great horned owl. So those are 7 resident species of owls. Now being a nocturnal owl, or a nocturnal bird, you need some extra special tools to help you hunt at nighttime. When it's dark, you don't want to be out there trying to find your food. Thank you. You don't want to be out there trying to find your food and not be able to see it. And that's why owls have such large eyes.
Now you may be looking at this guy thinking, well, wait a minute, his eyes don't look that big. They don't look much bigger than yours. But in truth, his eyes are much bigger than mine. You see, they're shaped different than mine are. His eyes are not round shaped like mine. Mine are like marbles, and like yours, most animals. I can turn them from side to side in my head. This guy cannot. His eyes are cone shaped. It's like taking a piece of paper, rolling it up and cramming it back in his head. His eyes actually get larger as they go back in his head. His eyes are so big there's no room for muscle, no room for movement. He's always stuck looking straight forward. That's great to see in the dark. Not so good if you want to watch that mouse walking around behind you. How are you going to watch the mouse if you can't turn your eyes? I know you can turn your body. Oh, wait a minute. If you turn your body, the mouse sees movement, and he doesn't want to be your dinner. He's going to obviously head for home. What do you think? He's going to turn his head, right. Can an owl turn his head all the way around? Okay, how many say yes, they can? How many say no, they can't? How many say I'm too afraid to raise my hand? Okay, you've got some honesty. Some of you didn't raise your hand for any of those. But I'll tell you the truth, an owl cannot turn their head all the way around. They can go much further than most animals. See, this guy can turn his head about 270 degrees, or about 3/4 of the way around. So starting in the front, he can go all the way to the back and a little bit further, but cannot complete the circle. You see, in our necks, we have 7 bones, vertebrae, that help us go up and down, left and right. This guy has 14 bones in his neck, twice as many as us. That gives him that extra motion. Now, his eyes are also designed in a different way besides shape. You see, in an eye, there's rods and cones, and Steve's going to correct me because I was getting it wrong. Have you ever noticed when you go out at nighttime, you're watching the stars, and all of a sudden you see a really faint star over here, when you look at it, it disappears? You ever notice that when you look away, it's there again? That's because the eye is made up of rods and cones. Rods are for, I got it right this time. Rods are what help you see dim lights. And we have more rods on the outside of our eye and the cones on the inside of our eye. An owl has rods and cones throughout the entire eye. So they don't have to look away to see that dim star. They can see it really well by looking straight at it. Now obviously these guys care less about looking at the stars. They're looking for food at nighttime. Now they're also listening for food. If it's a really dark night, lots of clouds in the sky, no moon, no stars, it's pitch black out there. Even an owl has some trouble finding their food. So these guys depend more on their hearing at that time. You guys spotted his ears? No, you can't. No, they're hidden. His ears are actually located just behind his eye, right about there, and it's just a hole in the side of his head. He doesn't have neat funnels like we do to draw the sound into his ears. He has what we call a facial disc to help do that. Right around his eyes, you'll notice it looks like a heart shape. That's his facial disc. The way the feathers are designed there, it actually draws the sound back to his ear. Now, another unique thing about his ears is one's lower than the other. Now, I used to ask if anyone's ear had one ear lower than the other, but I always get people checking, and I can tell you right now, our ears are symmetrical on our head. They're at the same height. An owl has one ear lower so that he can pinpoint sounds much better than we can. It's what we call triangulation. Each ear, being at a different height, is hearing the sound at a different distance, just a little bit, but it's enough for them to figure out exactly where the sound's coming from. Sometimes you'll see an owl tilting his head back and forth. What he's doing is he's trying to equalize the triangle to pinpoint that noise. Now, if there was a foot of snow on the ground, an owl would actually be able to hear a mouse underneath that foot of snow, go flying down, pierce their talons through the snow, and come up with that mouse easily. That's how good their hearing is. Now, with those great tools, this guy can find any animal out there at nighttime in the dark. Now it's time to go in for the kill. Do you think this guy's going to fly down really fast and grab that mouse, or do you think he's going to sneak up on it? I heard someone say fast, and I heard most of you say sneak up. Yeah, he's going to sneak up on it. Most animals out at nighttime, rabbits, mice, they got big ears listening for danger. If they hear danger, they're going to head for cover. They don't want to be someone's dinner. So this guy has to be really quiet and sneak up on his prey. The way he does that is not by tiptoeing through the woods. He is a bird, he has to fly, but he's built for silence.